Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Bravo!
Questions and comments? The honourable member for King's Hands.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to thank my honourable colleague for his remarks today. And as he mentioned, yes, yesterday the Agriculture Committee, with amendments from the Liberals, the Conservatives and the Bloc, did pass his motion, and I certainly think it reflects the working spirit of our committee. I don't disagree with the proposition of what the member is putting forward, but when I look at the text of the motion, it seems to almost have the conclusion before the investigation has even happened. And when he talks about high corporate profits and high food prices, I guess my question to the honourable member would be, is he asserting then that there is absolute price gouging happening in this country, or does he think that there are plausible reasons as to why corporate profits could be higher and food prices are also higher? For example, where many Canadians would have actually been buying groceries as opposed to going to restaurants, that could have drove profits higher at the same time that we are facing inflationary pressure. So my question is, does he think that there is legitimate price gouging happening in this country, or is there plausible reasons as to why those two things could be existing at the same time?
The honourable member for Cowichan-Malahat-Langford.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. And first of all, I'd like to thank the member for King's Hands and all colleagues there on the Agriculture Committee for supporting my motion yesterday. I think it's going to be a very important inquiry in getting the answers that Canadians deserve. Look, I'm trying to approach this issue from the perspective of one of my constituents. Two things are true. Prices on food items that people need to survive are going up faster than the general rate of inflation. That's the first truth. The second truth is that large corporations which have cornered the grocery market are making profits. These two things exist at the same time, and it's about time that parliamentarians took this issue seriously, started an inquiry, got answers, and met the challenge with effective policy that is going to tackle inequality in this country.
Bravo!
Questions and comments? The honourable for Charles Wood, St. James, Assiniboine, Headingley.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I've listened to the honourable member's speech, and I have to say, only the NDP could think that raising taxes on Canadians will make life more affordable. It's talk about topsy-turvy, Madam Speaker. Raising taxes will make life more affordable. What a fantasy world. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, Madam Speaker, that if the NDP was really serious about making life more affordable, they and their Liberal coalition partners wouldn't be tripling the carbon tax. They've allowed housing prices to spiral out of control, gas prices to spiral out of control. They're increasing the paycheck tax. Madam Speaker, how can we take this member seriously when their logic is just so backwards?
The honourable member for Cowichan-Malahat-Langford.
Well, Madam Speaker, I am so glad to see Conservatives yet again going to bat for their corporate friends. And if he thinks that this is an NDP policy, he should look across the Atlantic Ocean to Conservatives in the United Kingdom who are proposing the exact same policy, have implemented what we are pursuing. So I think it's time actually for Conservatives to wake up, to listen to their constituents, stop moaning about taxes and going after their CPP and their EI. Join us and go after the corporate fat cats who are profiting on an economy that so many Canadians are suffering under.
Here, here.
Questions et commentaires.
Questions and comments. The honourable member for Berthier-Masquinongé. Thank you, Madam Speaker. A quick colleague. I thank my colleague for his speech. I work with the colleague on the Agriculture Committee. It's a pleasure to work with him. But I would first like to very kindly, gently correct him because he says that he's the only party calling on the government to tax companies who have made windfall profits. They're not the only party because the Bloc has also talked about taxing companies which had made over $1 billion in profits. But that's just a quick correction. Now, here's my question for my colleague. Can the colleague talk to me about the importance of the work that is ongoing now in setting up a code of conduct on the markets for grocery stores to forbid them from unfair practices for the big players? Thank you.
It's about 49 seconds to respond.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for an exact time on that. First of all, I would like to compliment my colleague. He indeed is a pleasure to work with at committee, and we have always had very constructive talks on this. As to the Grocery Code of Conduct, absolutely. It has come up repeatedly at our committee. And what we have heard, especially from producers and processors, is that when they are trying to market their items in large grocery chains, there are all of these hidden fees. They can get charged for not supplying enough product, supplying too much, late delivery. And so that's why this Grocery Code of Conduct is being put in place, because of the business practices of large grocery chains, which have put an unfair advantage on our producers and our processors. So again, it's part of the trend of why we're here today, to tackle this issue and meet it with effective policy.
Right on the zero. Perfect. Resuming debate.